Okay, we're started.
Good afternoon. It is April 14th, 2026. I call this meeting to order of the Land, Natural Resources and Cultural Preservation Committee. Invocation, I would like to ask Representative Anna Marshall if she would do that for us.
Let us pray. Dear God, we just come to you today, and we know that there are many issues that faces our nation, but we just ask that you continue to just lead and guide us in all the decisions that we have to make, and that we always remember that we do this to honor our people and to honor our ancestors, that we will do the right thing and do what is best for the nation, not what's best for us, but what's best for the entire nation. And we just ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Representative Marshall. Roll call, Legislative Clerk Tracy Knobloch.
Jody Burnett,
Present.
Galen Cloud,
Yalego.
and Anna Marshall,
Present.
Cody Phillips,
Yalego.
Robin White Cloud.
Present.
Chairman, you got 5 present and 0 absent.
5 present, 0 absent, constitutes a quorum. Meeting is conducted today will be official. On down to approval of minutes for March 10th, 2026. I will give time to the committee to review, and then I will take a motion.
Since we've had the minutes since this morning, we've had time to review them. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes with any changes, any necessary change.
Representative Marshall makes a motion to approve March 3rd, March 10th, March 10th, 2026 minutes with necessary changes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Representative White Cloud. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same
Aye.
sign. The minutes have been approved. On down to order of business, we have, first up, we have TR 26-023, a tribal resolution of the Muscogee Creek Nation authorizing the principal chief to execute a memorandum of agreement with the United States Army Corps of Engineers, Oklahoma Archaeology Survey, and the Oklahoma State Historic Preservation Office for removal of the bridge on Oak Drive over Fred Creek, Tulsa County, Oklahoma. Sponsor is Robin White Cloud.
Chairman, motion for due pass.
Representative White Cloud makes a motion to do pass. Do I have a second? Representative Phillips makes a second. Discussion.
Chairman, I believe I have someone here from Cultural that can speak to this if anybody has any questions.
We have
They probably are on.
Robin Sawika Jr. who will speak on this legislation. Floor is yours, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Robin Sawika Jr. I'm the Director of the Historic and Cultural Preservation Department. I can give a brief overview of this resolution. It's basically the Muscogee Nation Gaming Enterprise is proposing a commercial and residential development at the Riverline property close to River Spirit. A part of the development is the removal of a bridge, and after consultation with the State Historic Preservation Office, the SHPO determined that the bridge is historic and it meets the criteria for the National Register of Historic Places. So in order for us to remove this bridge, we have to execute this MOA. And due to the bridge being historic, it'll be an adverse effect. Due to the adverse effect, we have to mitigate those effects. And stipulations are in this MOA for creating an interpretive sign close to where the bridge is to signify its importance. And another stipulation is an H.A.E.R. documentation, which is basically digital photography of the bridge. But, power. So in order for this project to be passed through, this MOA has to be executed and these stipulations have to be within the next 10 years. That's basically it.
Thank you, sir. We have any questions from committee? Any questions from council in attendance or online? Hearing none, roll call.
Robin White Cloud,
Yes.
Jody Barnett,
Yes.
Anna Marshall,
Yes.
Cody Phillips.
Yes.
Chairman, you have 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. Motion passes. On down to TR 26-025. A tribal resolution of the Muscogee Creek Nation authorizing the principal chief to execute a real estate contract for the purchase of property in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. Sponsor is Representative Robin Whitecloud.
Chairman, motion for D pass.
Representative Whitecloud makes a motion to do pass. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Representative Anna Marshall. Discussion?
We have someone here from the executive branch. Can speak on this.
Chairman,
Yes.
Chairman, this is Chief Hill.
Yes, Chief.
I can't see the screen, but Shane Hullaby should be in attendance.
Yeah, he's here. And we have.
Okay, thank you.
as well, so. Jane Hullaby, the floor is yours, sir.
All right, well, the description of the land can be kind of by negative, but this is what plans I had for the space over there. I can do that. You had one too. Sure. All right. We don't want to breathe. You're already. Share. Well, kind of the plan behind this is that I've been looking around for several years on what we can do, something similar to fleet. Well, and you drive around the neighborhoods and everything, and you see a lot of lawnmowers broke down and everything, and people can't afford to get them repaired. So what I've been doing is trying to come up with a plan. I got with fleet management, and we started looking at our resources we have available now. A lot of our program income will help fund the tools, the oil, and everything to start up. But we're going to need help later on with the static. I think in 0 to 3 months, we'll get it all set up. There's little networking that needs to be done inside the program. But I think it's going to be beneficial. It'll be no labor cost or anything to the, can't talk today. Sorry. No labor cost. It'll be at cost for our employees. Anna's up here laughing at me. But really, it's just another service I want to do. I know we could turn this into a business, but it's something that is special, just like fleet, that we only offer to our employees and citizens. Right now, it'd be only departments and our citizens. Later on, we could branch out further. But I want this to be just for us. And I'm not opposed to stealing employees, other programs from the nation or in the city. At Fleet Management, what we did was over the years, we relied so much on the vendors. And this past year, we outsourced one vehicle. We did everything in-house and we kept it with us. We created, from when I started, we had 3 employees. We have 16 now. And I want to continue that trend. Venture off down south and down east. Well, anywhere I can, y'all get the money. That's what I'll go. But it's a kind of a dream, a goal, is to actually save money for our. And this is ours. Nobody can take it away from us. Really all I have, and I know I sound nervous, but I'm not, so I'm just. Okay. Don't tell me that. Megan, can you help me?
Okay, I just have the location where it's at. It's a 5 acre tract, that's located, it used to be the old Rambin building. And I just ran title on it and it doesn't have any liens or anything on it. And it was, listed for a long time, and we got a really good deal on it. Y'all seen the appraisal on it, and that's all I got.
Will we have to hire mechanics, or is this with or do we have mechanics within the facilities?
We do have some people inside the nation that could probably fill some of these spots, but then I'd be robbing the paper, robbing Paul to pay Peter, you know? I just wanna make sure that we can, if we move these people, we're able to refill those spots, you know? It's something I wanna do. Is, like I said, similar to fleet. Everybody in there at fleet are certified. And what we're gonna continue to do is become certified in these and make us more valuable. If they decide to leave the nation one day, we're gonna be able to take that with them. But yes, we would need to hire some.
So all the small engine repairs, like the lawnmowers, the riding mowers, I mean, the zero turns, the weed eaters, everything is the repairs, we take that, as far as I know, to Stewart Martin. Is that correct?
Or Stewart Martin, and depending on the location where you're at.
But if we get this, then that
We would keep it in town.
we would keep that, what we pay them, that would stay here.
And I would try to steal some Stewart Martin people. I'm just kidding, don't repeat that to them, honestly.
All right. Yeah, any questions from committee? Representative Whitecloud?
So if you purchase this and you want to hire people, will that be in next year's budget? How would you hire?
Sort of, we do all the groundwork up until the new budget season. And we gradually get into it, kind of like what we did with Fleet. We start off with a couple, see what we need, do a needs assessment, and basically build on that as we go.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Representative Marshall?
One good resource might be OSU. Do they still have the small engine repair?
That's more VOTEC areas nowadays.
Yeah.
And I'm all about sending people to school, to get those trainings. And one of the off subject, but HVAC is a big one for us. If we can start sending these people there, and that's where our career development comes in.
And when you start talking about employees, are there some graduates out there now that would help support this program?
There's people that are graduating there that are going into automotive side more than what they are two-cycle and four-cycle.
Okay.
And that's where another area is the ATVs and stuff like that. You have to outsource those to Polaris and other areas. And that's going to help us if we can do it internally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, what about our tractors? Will that still be outsourced?
For right now, but that's one of the other branches I want to do later on is have a diesel mechanic. That way we can do more heavy type work there. And we do have some diesel mechanics, or some mechanics experienced in that, but I don't have the equipment to do those types of, cranes and everything like that. But this building is big enough to kind of turn that into it later on. I also want to turn this into a body shop. That's it later on, because we have a lot of vehicles out there. That's it. We got 2 experienced people, certifications in auto body up there. And I think if we can teach these trades to our younger ones, they're going to advance further in the future.
On what Representative Marshall was talking about, I know we have a lot of tribal citizens, our students, our youth that go out there to OSUIT and get that trade. And that'd be something that we can utilize to get them to come here. Any more questions? Representative Phillips?
So you kind of excluded diesel repair. Are you talking small engine as 2-stroke and 4-stroke engine, or are you just talking
2-stroke, 4-stroke.
2-stroke, 4-stroke?
And, like I said, you go up to these yards and a lot of times it's just a car repair. You go change the carburetor, get it off Amazon, slap it on, 30 minutes, you're good to go again. But a lot of people don't know that. And if we can teach them the proper maintenance as we want to, they're gonna save money and not have to come to us.
Any more questions?
Sure.
Representative McHenry.
Would you mind repeating the location, please? I'm sorry.
It's, let me see,
4201 Northwood Drive. It's the old Rambo building.
yeah. You know where the
Right.
propane
Yeah.
area is? It's right next to it.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions? Questions from council in attendance? Online?
Chairman, this is Thomasine.
Yes, ma'am. Second speaker?
Thank you, sir. Shane, would you repeat the location again? I'm not familiar with buildings in Okmulgee.
It's over there. No, yeah. It's, you know where the propane area is? Right down-
Yes.
It's right next to that, just about.
Okay, thank you. And then also, the property is 5 acres. Would we be able to utilize the additional acreage, like behind the building, or where does it sit on the 5 acres?
There's some wooded area towards the back a little bit, but we can probably clear some of that and utilize more of it. But I was wanting to gravel a lot of it so we can have an equipment yard there to kind of centralize most tractors and trailers there and have cameras on them. Because we've had in the past where a few trailers and some equipment have been stolen. And that goes back to another point, is that if a citizen or somebody brings up a mower, we're gonna document their serial numbers for them. And if it should happen to get stolen, they can come to us and we'll have that information we want.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, second speaker. Any more questions? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Robin Whitecloud,
Yes.
Dodie Barnett,
Yes.
Anna Marshall,
Yes.
Jody Phillips.
Yes.
Chairman, you have 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. That motion passes. Thank you. On down to NCA 26-058. A law of the Muscogee Creek Nation appropriating funds to be used toward the purchase of the property located in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. Sponsor is Robin Whitecloud.
Chairman, motion to pass.
Representative Whitecloud makes a motion to do pass.
So cool.
Representative Phillips makes a second. Discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Robin Whitecloud,
Yes.
Dodie Barnett,
Yes.
Anna Marshall,
Yes.
Jody Phillips.
Yes.
Chairman, you have 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. That motion passes. That'll be sent to BF&J for funding source. Oh,
Good job.
on down to NCA 26-059. A law of the Muscogee Creek Nation amending MCNCA Title 5 subsection 2-115 entitled Funding. Sponsor is Galen.
Motion do pass.
Representative Barnett makes the motion to do pass. There's a second.
So cool.
Representative Phillips makes a motion. First, makes second motion. Discussion?
I have 2 questions. Okay, one, when did we decide on all these breakdowns for amending
For the,
for the 75,000 and all the other things that was in this legislation? I don't remember us meeting about it.
50, right?
yeah, what we're doing is we're just moving the 150 with the land acquisition into our emergency.
Okay.
For the 100,000 will go in towards the emergency for our grants that we do have, since that's been the topic of our committee, to utilize that to get most of them taken care of. And we do have the 50,000.
Ceremony ground.
Yeah, the 50,000 would be for the ceremonial grounds and the church grant. And then the 100,000 will be used for our.
So you're taking from one fund and adding it to the other.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The second question I have is, I would like to ask, Mr. Fife if he would like to say anything about this particular piece of legislation.
Well, thank you, Representative Marshall, committee, council members, present and online. A couple of thoughts that Chief and I have discussed recently over the past several months. And then again, over the past couple of years, is the size of these grants. How we, with this bill in particular, this takes away from money that was set aside to purchase lands that are some of our ceremonial grounds don't own. Namely Hickory Ground, Greenleaf, maybe New Tulsa, not sure of that status, but those Hickory Ground and Greenleaf in particular, we've been in negotiations with the landowners, and these are fractionated lands. Sometimes they're complicated to negotiate with people. Realty's here and could discuss this a little more in depth. But what would we do if a successful negotiation is made and then this money is needed and it's moved to a different account? Is the concern that I have. So, and I can speak for Hickory Ground in particular.
Chairman.
Yes, Representative Barnett.
I can address a little bit of what Secretary Fife is addressing, and I do hear your concern. Is there
Point of
a
order.
reason? I'm sorry.
Let Chief of Staff finish, and then I'll get back to you.
Oh, I apologize. I thought he was finished.
No.
So the number of our campers over the years, last 5, 6, 7 years, have sought the Camp House Fund, and contractors were selected, camps not built. And that's led to the administration now having to oversee some of these projects. But that staff, private construction, we've got big projects going everywhere. Bristol Community under construction. Those projects take a lot of time and oversight. And I'm not saying we shouldn't monitor construction at the grounds or the churches, wherever we're assisting. But I think we need a little more, one, staffing, but some more resources and planning to understand what we're trying to accomplish. I know the goal is to help our people in all ways we can. That's the way we're raised to do. But when this set aside fund was set for a reason. The only ground that I can think of that modernly was purchased would be Arvika. That would be somewhere around 2006. Others now have land leases. Upfusky's one. That landowner, non-Indian, she allows Upfusky to use that land. Lives in Kansas. And I know for the last 4 years, the discussion has been, let's buy it. Let's buy that portion that's used by the grounds. And those, again, it takes time, but if the money that's set aside is moved to another area. The question becomes, what do we do? What's the plan? Do we have special meetings to take money from treasury that would have otherwise normally been in the budget? I don't, those are questions that we all have to have a discussion. Those would be my remarks for now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Fife. Representative Barnett?
Thank you, Chairman. I guess my first question is there a reasonable expectation that Hickory Ground will be successful in this negotiation by September 30th? And if so, what is the amount that we would need to leave in that line item to accomplish the purchase?
He does.
Yeah, I do. Is that to me?
Yes. What is that to Chief of Staff or our Realty Department?
Chief of Staff mentioned Hickory Ground was in negotiation, so yes, my question would be for him.
I don't know them. And as far as this occurring by September 31st, 30th, whenever, I can't answer that either. There's still, when you have lands that are owned by multiple persons, just as in Hickory Ground's case, we had all probates completed. And then 2 presumptive heirs pass away. So now 2 more probates need to be completed. I don't know if a 150 is enough. But I do know that we have legal people working on it. We have realty working on it. And the same with Alfusky. And the same with Greenlee. So I'm sorry, Representative Barnett, I can't give you definite answers on that question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for attempting to address it. So just for a little bit of context, it actually is not, I don't believe it's uncommon for this money to be moved on a regular annual basis towards when it doesn't look like this money is going to be utilized, it's been moved into other line items to make sure that grants were approved for the requests that were coming in for the other pockets of money. And it doesn't mess with the budget on an annual basis. October 1, the money would be back in that line item and readily available. We've been meeting for months. I mean, is Second Chief there? And maybe he can speak to some of that as well. One of just for a little bit of context, Chief of Staff, we have been meeting for months and we've been trying to strategize and figure out how do we address the backlog. Right now we have a waiting list for every single bucket and most of those categories are out of money. And so we were trying to clear out the emergency wait list for the emergency grants that were applied for. We were trying to do the emergency repairs at West Eufaula with this appropriation, and then also potentially have extra money for future emergencies that would come in before September 30th. But if Second Chief is online or there in person and he wants to add any context, that would be agreeable.
Thank you, Representative Barnett. Second Chief is here.
I think pretty much all been said. I think overall, the goal is to get some of these projects that have been approved by council off high center and get them out of the way. I think that's the goal. And the funding, whether it's pulled from this pot of funds or whether it's pulled from this pot of funds, all come from the same pot of funds eventually. So really, it's either we pull it from the money that is set aside for the grounds for the land acquisition. To me, it's kind of like, it's not really a big deal because whether we pull it from the land acquisition or we just appropriate the funds, either way, if we pull it from land acquisition and all of a sudden negotiations come through and we need that money, just appropriate the money. Or we come over here and say, all right, we need another 100,000 to get all these projects, move forward. We appropriate the money. I mean, to me, it's not, we're just trying to figure out which pot of funds to pull from. But I mean, to me, the point is that we're to a point now where we got to start moving some of these projects forward. And because they've been on here for what, 3 years now, something like that we found, if not longer. So we got to get some of these things moving forward, and it costs money, and some personnel time and that type of stuff. But if we don't have a pot of funds to start pulling these funds from, then they're kind of spinning our wheels here.
Okay, Second Chief, Representative Barnett.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I know that hopefully at the end of this meeting, we can schedule another special meeting before our community meeting on May 9th, because I do believe it needs to have a deeper discussion. And, Chief of Staff, you guys are welcome to join us in those discussions and in those pursuits. I think to Second Chief's point, we're going to have to appropriate more money than what we have budgeted now anyway. And so that's the next discussion, is how much and where's it going to come from in order to save. Because the bottom line is that the money is going to our places of worship that support our citizens' spiritual health. And so whether it is a ceremonial ground or a church, that money needs to be available and the services need to be available to make sure that our people's spiritual needs are met. So I think that's really the bigger picture there. But I hear your concern, Chief of Staff. But I don't think that anybody on the committee would not vote for a special appropriation if your negotiations were to come through pleasantly, unexpectedly, quickly. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Any more questions? Representative Wyckoff.
I just have a comment, basically reiterating what everyone said. This land acquisition grant has not been used in several years. So it just goes back to the Treasury every year. And this is only, from my understanding, for FY 2026. So I don't see a problem in moving that money right now. Also, last session, former representative asked for a budget from Tribal Construction, because we met with them and talked to them, and they said if they had more staff that were dedicated solely to the churches and ceremonial grounds grant, that would be helpful. They submitted that, but nothing was ever picked up on it on the executive side. So, that would have been helpful. So anyways, I feel like we need to move this pot of money and get this waiting list taken care of, because right now we are not providing quality services to our churches and our ceremonial grounds because they're on a waiting list and they're just sitting there. So it's been backed up long enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Representative Phillips.
More of just a concern and I guess a question. I see what we're trying to do here with this piece of legislation. However, if we were to move this, what if in a month or two, a ground did break through that wasn't a ground that was named, that doesn't own the property that their fire sits on, and they need that money? Are we guaranteeing that they're going to be able to purchase it? Are we going to be able to appropriate those funds right then and there, or in that month or two, or whatever it is? Are we guaranteeing that if we move this money over? I guess that's my question.
I don't think that we can appropriate money for that. I mean, this is just like Representative Barnett said. I mean, this is September 31st. Some of this money is going to be there again. I mean, but if that does happen, I just don't see this committee or this body or this nation leaving out that ceremony. Any more questions? Are you?
Yes.
Representative Marshall?
I still have a concern. I guess for me, can we postpone this and we do a discussion and then bring it back? Or is it critical that we attend to it today, to get it on the agenda for.
To me, I think it's critical to get it on the agenda because, I mean, like back to Representative White Cloud, I mean, these emergency grants has been on there 4 or 5 years. If we just keep pushing it back, but I mean.
Well, I understand that we inherited a problem from the previous committee, so.
No, we have some that's been on there since 2020.
I know. Some of these.
Any more discussion? Representative Phillips.
Can we possibly have a discussion of appropriating money for the backlog?
Chairman?
Representative Barnett.
Yes, I can answer your question, Representative Phillips. So there will be another legislation coming next month. Chairman and I were talking to Alicia about that, and again, it's going to take a special appropriation. So it was a bigger lift, and it was put on pause until next month. So that gives us more time to have another special meeting, meet with the churches and ceremonial grounds in May, right before we have that next committee meeting to potentially pass that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Jody Barnett,
Yes.
Anna Marshall,
Yes.
Cody Phillips,
No.
Robin White Cloud.
Yes.
You have 3 in favor and 1 against.
3 in favor and 1 against. Motion is approved. On down to other business. In other business, we have former Chief James Floyd, who's joining us online to discuss the Bacon. I guess I wouldn't say Bacon issue, but the is it the paintings or I'll let you talk about that.
Hello, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone, members of the committee and others in attendance there. Thanks for allowing me a few minutes to talk about the Bacon property and artifacts that are remaining there. Just by way of introduction, my I guess involvement with Bacon recently was just growing out of a concern for the loss of the artifacts and their future, what's going to happen to them. These are things that were from the Adaloa Museum on the Bacon campus. But in that discussion about the preservation of those or even the sale of those, it kind of grew into a bigger discussion with the bankruptcy court trustee who's in charge of, liquidating the assets, both the real estate and the contents of the former museum. And so I thought that based on the information that I've gathered, that it kind of merits another look, I guess, at I think issues that have probably been raised before regarding Bacon. And so in preparation to this, I did send to Tracy 2 documents. One kind of a background of this campus in the school and what's going on right now, and then some pictures to look at in terms of the buildings on the campus. So I know there's others who may want to speak, and I think Joy Harjo's there as well, and she has some very important things to say. So I'll just kind of synopsize some of the things that I wanted to cover, and then be available for any questions for you. The other thing is, just want everybody to know, I as a disclaimer, I don't have any economic benefit from the sale of that property or the artifacts there at all. I'm just interested in the preservation of them. And so, regardless of what happens, who ends up with this and who buys it, I have no economic stake So I just want to put that out there so you know that I'm not trying to push anything on anybody. But I know that Joy Harjo had also prepared a document that she would like to talk about that goes into a discussion of the background of Bacone College. And so I'll just kind of work off of some more recent history there and just kind of for your information, and then kind of go into like 3 points that I think are kind of pertinent to the discussion about Bacone. Um, Presently, the campus since 2014 has been listed on the National Register of Historic Places as a historic district. And that applies to the 30-acre main campus of Bacone. And so some may look at that as kind of a negative or a positive. I think it's a positive myself, because I'll speak to that a little bit more. But just wanted to let everyone know that it is listed as a historic district, and there are some protections that come with that. The National Council had declined to purchase Bacone in 2023, and I think, and looking at the statement that was put out from the National Council 3 years ago this month, I agree with the reasons why at that time, with outstanding debts, unclear title, and then being a sheriff's sale. But I just want to point out that those issues don't affect the sale of that property at this time, or affect that any encumbrance on that property. Um, and then in 2024, as everyone knows, the college closed, went into, at that time, Chapter 11 reorganization bankruptcy. And then later that same year, I believe, went into Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is liquidation. And that's where it stands at this point. Many of the art pieces that resided in the museum are scattered to the wind, I guess you could say. However, there's some that remain, and they're stored in climate controlled storage in Muskogee. I met with the trustee last month, and he and I looked at the two storage um, rooms, and they are, they've been wrapped and boxed in this um, in controlled environment since September of last year, and that's where they remain today. And looking at in more discussion about that, there's potential uses that I see for the Bacone campus. And, there's been discussion, people have raised ideas with me as well, that its use in line with its legacy has been an art school. It has value, I believe, in visual, video, performing arts, because there's some infrastructure there that can be used. There's a language immersion program and language immersion school that has been brought up to me that that'd be an excellent site for that, and it could well be, as well as a technical training site. There's also the possibility of using that campus for healthcare purposes, clinic, similar to what's being planned in Okemah and other locations, for assisted living, long-term care, outpatient ambulatory care. So, there's enough room within that 30 acres to do these things. And there's also alignment with the College of Muskogee Nation. And so I just wanted to just, state my own thoughts, that I think that there is some merit to that as well. And so having said those things, I just want everybody to understand that that campus is not move-in ready. So if the tribe were to buy that, and obtain it, that there is going to have to be an outlay of money to protect it. It's not entirely fenced. And so, there are people that have been going in there, and because there's no fence, the day that I was there recently, someone was breaking into the chapel, right in broad daylight. So the police caught him and threw him out. And but it needs to be protected, but that could be done. And then you have the maintenance of the grounds and all. In addition to the 30-acre campus where the buildings reside, there's an additional 10 to 15 acres just west of the campus, which would be south of the Merle Children's Home, that may be offered separately that is not developed. I think there's a pond on it right now. And so that could be bundled into the purchase. At the present time, the trustee is kind of considering that be separated out from the sale of the 30 acres and is sold separately, as well as the artifacts that are in storage. Presently, he's hoping to sell those separately as well. The my suggestions going forward is to just revisit the statement from 2023 from the National Council, I just said before, because things have changed. And I think they're, to conduct an evaluation, due diligence, whatever you want to call that, to look at the viability of obtaining that 30-acre campus and its possible uses. And I would suggest that maybe holding some type of public meeting or to hear from the same people that have talked to me about uses for that campus. And do some work with nonprofits and just in that realm. I know that there are private foundations and grant funds available to support some of these things. I'm in Washington, D.C. this week, and just today, at that meeting that I was at, that was asked about, is there a native caterer that could bring, farm to table food and provide a banquet of native foods? And so, when I get back, I'll, kind of trace that down for these folks. So there's a, growing economy in the things that I had talked about in film, in the visual arts, the literary arts, performing arts, even as we see with the things that are being done with, clothing. There's an emerging market that has value. And I think that value goes to kind of the heart of our own culture and to the support of our citizens as they're going about and establishing these businesses. We'll see that this weekend with the arts market. Those are Muskogee folks. And, so you could have some link between what they are doing and that campus and the future of that to help grow and develop that. So I just, that's my thoughts about that. Again, I think it'd be good to evaluate that campus. I think I saw Sonia there earlier. I would ask her to look at the title again and look at, her opinion of the viability of even making an offer on the property. The trustee did get permission or did get an order from a bankruptcy judge. And so all outstanding debts, all outstanding liens have been taken off of this property. So as he's presently completing a survey of the property. Once he has that, then I think it's going to be ready. How the process would work would be that in our case here with the National Council, if you wanted to pursue that, is then to authorize the principal chief to submit a bid to the bankruptcy court, which would be through the trustee. And then the trustee will take that to the bankruptcy court judge. And if that's accepted, then, there's going to be some paperwork. You pay the money and he will immediately sign a clear title over to the buyer. Presently, the trustee told me that he has one offer that's pretty firm at the present time. His hesitation in taking that offer to the bankruptcy court judge is he feels it contains some development, and he would prefer the tribe have it as opposed to somebody developing that commercially and as he calls it, making it into a strip mall. So I agree with him. I think it has better value than being a strip mall in Muskogee. That just doesn't sound great to me. But I think the urgency of it is that if nothing more comes forward on this, the trustee expects that he would take something to the bankruptcy court judge, that offer that's kind of tentatively been submitted to him by about July of this year. And if there's no other competing bids, then this person, this is a private individual, would probably own it. And then it would be out of our hands completely unless, he wanted to sell it to the tribe or something like that. So again, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And, again, my thoughts are, I think it warrants a look at this again. And then the council and the principal chief, executive branch decide whether this is something that you want to invest in. I think that it was told from the trustee to me that the value that's placed on it right now is about $8 million. I think the sale price is going to be significantly less than that. How much, I don't know. But I think with the people who had liens on it before willing to accept pennies on the dollar, I think you can see that the price will be less than the $8 million for sure. What that bid is right now that he has in his hand, I don't know. He didn't disclose that to me. If the council's interested in engaging more in consideration of the property, I'll be glad to, hand this off to you and to the trustee, get you guys introduced and, have more serious talks on this. He and I have spoken several times and will continue to speak because I think his interest is having the tribe, have this as opposed to a private developer. But, with the urgency of the situation, it's kind of an either or situation at this point. Just one other thing real quick, the Chickasaw Nation, the Branson Chickasaw Nation is interested in purchasing the items that were in the museum because of Adaloa McClendon was a Chickasaw member, and a lot of her donations are what's in that storage right now, but I haven't heard back from them. I've had discussions with them as well. They're just trying to assess if that's something they want to move forward with at this time. So I'll pause right there. I know there's others who want to speak. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Chief Floyd.
Joy Harjo.
Floor is yours, ma'am.
So, thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of Bacone College. My great grandfather, Henry Marcy Harjo, got his degree in ministry from there way back. Bacone Indian University was chartered by the Muskogee Creek Nation in 1881. It is one of the very first institutions of higher learning for Native people before there were tribal colleges and programs in state and national institutions. It was the oldest continuously operated institution of higher education in Oklahoma at the time of its closure in 2024. It was and still is considered a treasure of Native education and is especially known for its focus in the arts. The Bacone Indian Art Program, initiated by Mary Adaloa Stone McClendon in 1927, became nationally known for its association with respected Native American artists such as W. Dick West, A.C. Blue Eagle, and Woody Crumbo. It fostered the school of Native American art that came to be known as the Bacone style. It was a major Native arts and culture center located in the heart of the country in the Muskogee Nation Reservation. It was a cultural home, and many of the nation's prominent artists began their studies and even taught there. It is the arts that put Bacone College on the map. The arts are inextricably linked to culture. This is how we know ourselves to be Muskogee people. Otherwise, we'd be indistinguishable and even unrecognizable as Muskogee. Art is the expression in our language, it's our designs, our songs, our decorative items, architecture, all of our cultural expressions. Culture is maintained by arts in our communities. The arts show us who we are, where we've been, and where we are going. We have managed to retain traditional culture in our tribal nation despite the violent onslaught by those who work to supplant our teachings and our ways of life with their imported belief systems. Yet, now we are at a culturally crucial crossroads because of the continued loss of language, the lack of specifically Indigenous educational opportunities, and the implementation of state and federal laws that attempt to erase Muskogee and Native history to deny our inherent presence that is timeless and necessary to the story of this country. What we do in the next few years to uphold our collective personhood as Muskogee people will determine the cultural fate of our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and those who continue to follow. Bacone College could provide the next step in our nation's profound efforts to retain and cultivate our culture and arts. We are proud of our Muskogee language program, and there's the impressive language immersion program at the College of Muskogee Nation. The Muskogee Art Market is now 5 years old and is very successful in showcasing Muskogee and other Native artists. The Muskogee Arts Council is up and running, and the Muskogee Waters Gallery opened last year with its first show at the Riverwalk property. Council Oak Comprehensive Healthcare Center is also a major Muskogee art gallery. The Muskogee Creek Nation Historic and Cultural Preservation Office continues its efforts, and the new Department of Culture and Humanities is a groundbreaking step to highlight Muskogee arts and culture. The 30-acre campus of Bacone with the opportunity to add 10 acres could help synthesize cultural efforts. An arts education arm that could build on Bacone's artist legacy could be under the College of Muskogee Nation, and even an Institute of American Indian Arts affiliate. The grounds could be part of the development of food sovereignty gardens with student training and involvement in partnership with Uchi Butterfly Farm. Muskogee language would be a requirement for all graduates, and the grounds could house ongoing language immersion programs. The walls could be a gallery, much like Council Oak. There could be a clinic as well as elderly housing paired with childcare facilities. A press for various forms of Muskogee literature could have a home there. It could have a theater for musical and storytelling productions. We have quite the opportunity to step up to renew this legacy now that the property has clear title. These words came from many of the These words spoken here come from many conversations held with tribal citizens and community members, especially the artists and culture bearers who have met informally at social events, school and cultural events, or just running into each other while shopping, and discuss the matter of Bacone College since its future has been in jeopardy. This is the time to act. This matter is urgent. What a difference it could make for Muskogee people, for the inspiration and flourishing of local and national communities. Yeah.
Thank you, Joy. Representatives Golden?
Thank you. I'm so glad that Chief Floyd got in touch with me, and I've talked to Joy Harjo. For the past several years, I've been screaming and saying we should do something, because that land and those buildings and the art is worth saving. So many people have given to that place. There are streets that are named after Creek citizens. Creek citizens, families, and non-Creek people have donated to that place. And there have been a lot of people that have tried to make that place something. We keep going back to our homelands and visiting and seeing what other people have done in the name of Muskogee. We just came back from Horseshoe Bend. There's a river right on the other side of Bacone. And I know Chief visited Switzerland or someplace, and he talked about seeing some clothing from the Muskogee people. Well, there's clothing and there's artifacts that were at that museum that people give, and they were put in that museum, and then somebody took it. But there are still some things that are still there. There are 7 of those buildings that are national historic buildings. And there are people brought stuff and put in those buildings. They brought rocks and stuff. And so they're still there. And right now is the opportunity for this tribe is on this reservation. We can do something with it. An immersion village, if you will, to preserve our culture, our songs, our food, birth to death, if you will. there were people that survived the Trail of Tears and brought stuff here. When I was at Horseshoe Bend, I saw trees and those things that off those trees, I don't know what you call them, but they were there on that campus. So I know that people brought things and they're there on that campus. So we have the opportunity to preserve that, preserve our culture. It's time for us to do that. More than any time that we've ever thought about. We have our programs, Raylyn, Anthony, all those people. We have people with our language now. We can, it's very emotional for me now because I know that we can live in those cottages and birth babies and bring them up and plant our food and grow them from birth to death. There's a cemetery there. There's a church there. There's a cafeteria there. We can teach. We can play the games. We can teach the games all right there on that campus. We don't have to have Wasichus, Hutky people. We don't have to have them do it for us. We can do it ourselves. That's preserving our culture. And right now is the time to do it. Chief Floyd says all we have to do is bid for it and say, we can bid and it's ours. We can build it back for us. And now's the time for us to do it. We don't have to have a college. We can have a village. It's our land on our reservation. So I submit that our committee say, yes, we want to do it and commit our resources to preserve our culture. And now's the time to do it. We have what we need to do. So thank you, committee.
Thank you, Representative Galen. Any more comments, discussion? Representative McHenry?
My question is the purchase of the property, correct? So with the purchase of the property, are even any of those buildings that are on that property even able to be used? I mean, I drove by there a week ago and it looked like a abandoned town as far as like, can they even be habited? Are people living in it? I mean, they look, before, a couple of years ago when we were gonna buy this property, there was a lot of issues with the structure of those buildings. That was the topic many a times, was that those buildings, the housing, the issues with mold, water leaks, and so on were some of the topics besides the lien on the property. So who's been taking care of that property since then? Because I know it's overgrown now from what I see. And if it hadn't been people using it and I don't know how long, I'm sure it's just totally gone down even worse. So with the purchase of that property, I don't believe, I'm not against, so to say, a purchase, but I don't see how those buildings, if they couldn't have been used back then, how can they be used now?
Well, the land itself is important. The artifacts is another thing. But 7 of those buildings are historic. So there's grants that you can get to upgrade those buildings. But then some of them are, there's grants that you can get to fix them. But like Chief Floyd said, there are some of them that need some repair, but I don't know, I can't tell you which ones. But he did go and look at them.
The next question,
Oh, good. You mean as Chief Floyd answer?
Sure, yeah.
Chief Floyd, are you still online?
Yes. So
Did you hear Representative McHenry's question?
I did, yes. So I think we have to realize that, it's been vacant there for 2 years and probably maintenance had been deferred long before that. I think the bones of the buildings still remain sound for a number of the buildings. The sale of the property is going to be as is. There's no, certifications made about anything. And, but, you do have something you could build on. Just the value of the property itself, if you didn't have any buildings there, would probably, be worth the investment, even if you spent 5 or 6 million to buy it. It appraises for more than that. So if you're looking at it strictly as a business investment, it would be worthwhile to pursue that. I think you need to do an assessment of all the buildings, and just like we do when we buy any other property, what's the environmental assessment that's needed, and to conduct that and know for ourselves what we're getting into.
Chief Floyd, we have one more question from Representative McHenry.
I keep hearing about these artifacts and arts and stuff like that. Who's overseeing that and who's watching that and where is that?
The artifacts are stored in Muskogee in 2 locked units within a locked building. It's climate controlled. So when the judge issued an order to the trustee to collect these things, they had a company that went in, collected them, inspected them for bugs and things like that, and then boxed them up, wrapped them up in some cases, and they were placed into this storage. I visited that a few weeks ago. I didn't see anything that, nothing was crawling out on the floor or anything when I was there. So it's a clean facility. It's a new facility there in Muskogee. And, it's been kept well since it was been there since September. But as to the condition of things when they picked them up and stored them there, I don't know.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Representative McHenry. Any more questions, comments? Representative Harjo. King, I'm sorry.
I graduated from Bacon and I worked for them for years. I was moved from adult programs and moved up to student life. So it took over my life for the years that I worked there. And do you know that those students that touched my life back then are Dr. Kate Hardo. I played basketball with her over there at Bacon. And they didn't know I had a good left hook. So they didn't know how to guard me good. What I'm saying is the effect that we can have on our youth is just, if we pass up this opportunity, somebody else purchases that land, I'll be heartbroken because we're given another chance. And it's free and clear of the lien, and that's free and clear of all of the debt and yeah, we're taking over some old buildings. They were old when I was there. And they need maintenance. They need a lot of TLC, but geez, what's a better investment that we can make as a tribe than to invest in the lives of our youth? And then you talk about the arts and drama. I was so mad my son kept taking drama classes. And I'm like, geez, finish your degree, do you know that he is an actor now? I mean, you have that we could invest in our young people that are finally getting a chance to play natives in these movies, and yet we don't do anything for them. He's had speaking roles, and so he's able to be on the, whatever it is, I can't remember what it's called, Speakers SAG, and Speakers Actors Guild, or what is it? Screen Actors Guild.
SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah, but he works as a waiter, and he doesn't have the money to pay the thousands of dollars to do that. That would open up more roles for him. These are the kids that we need to be investing in. I mean, it's just, I have family over there that they used to come out all the time, play stickball. Everybody loved Bacon. Kids who graduated from there, you have them, I see them down here at the electric company working as linemen. They went to Bacon. They graduated from Bacon. What I'm saying is, this is an opportunity that we have to invest in our kids, our young people, and they're the life of this nation. Thanks.
Thank you. Any more comments, discussion? Hearing none. Thank you, Chief Floyd, for being here. Thank you for your presentation.
But
Thank you. And Joy Argo, thank you for your presentation as well. Thank you very much. You're here today. Thank you with us. Thank you. Thank you, Chief Floyd.
Oh, one more thing.
Representative Galen.
Sorry. There's a young man that, and you probably know him, Marcus Klaus. He got a grant from the Mellon Foundation, and he lives in Alabama, but he started a program called Returning to the Earth, and it is an immersion village. Everything is in the Creek language. His family, they live and they as far as planting and the children, everything is in the. So he's already doing that for the past 2 years. So, but I don't know how much money that he got to do that. Somebody said that Porch Creek is funding him, but I don't know. So I said, well, he can do that. We should be able to.
Can I add something?
Yes, ma'am.
I won't say anything about Briggs, but Mellon Foundation, that is a possibility because they fund endeavors. They would possibly fund an endeavor like this, and they do give hefty funding, and there are other places, and if it comes down to, I'd be willing to help in whatever way I can to help with that.
Thank you. Any more questions, discussion? All right, thank you. On down to, we have any more other business?
Chairman.
I was fixing to call on you, Representative Barnett, go ahead.
Thank you. Appreciate you. I feel like if the committee is agreeable, I feel like it is important for us to go on the record to formally put a moratorium on accepting new application for these grants for the church and ceremonial grants for right now until the end of the fiscal year. I know that our staff, Tracy and Julie, sometimes maybe take the brunt of the frustration of citizens that come in because we informally said we're not taking applications. So our staff is towing the line for us, but if they had a formal decision they could point to and say, look, this is what the committee decided and it's on the record, then it would give them a little bit better footing to field those frustrations. So we can discuss it, and I'd be happy to make a motion, but I know informally we agreed at a meeting a couple months ago that we weren't going to take any more applications. So I just wanted to hear everybody's thoughts around that.
Yeah. That is open for discussion. Committee.
We're talking about
Representative Phillips.
We're talking about closing like all applications.
Yes.
Yes.
except for, the only exception would be the emergency, formally, we would close the emergency applications, but let's say a water line burst at a church or ceremonial ground and they need tribal construction to come out and turn the water off and fix the water leak if it's something they can't do themselves. That's one of the reasons moving that money today was so important, so that Tracy would have money to reimburse tribal construction for those emergency repairs. So other than that, we would not take any applications because we just, to me, we cannot in good conscience continue to take applications when we know there's no money. That doesn't make any sense. And we already have a backlog that is 4 years in the making. So I just don't see what it accomplishes to continue to take these applications. But again, I'm open. I wanted to open the door for discussion.
Okay. The three that we had, well, that me and Tracy were just discussing was a camp house, the emergency assistance grant, and a church and ceremonial ground grant. Is that the three?
Well, I would say all of them. I mean, because when we end up moving money, right, if we're going to do that,
Yeah.
we're going to try to do the special appropriation next month to move the money, that will go towards the backlog applications. So those are still going to get serviced in the order they were received. But we would not be taking any new applications in, or my thoughts are that we shouldn't take any new applications in any of the buckets for now until the end of the fiscal year.
Committee, your thoughts?
And one more question. So we moved this money from land acquisition. So let's say somebody does come in a month and they want to buy some land. Are we saying that they can't apply for that? How would we go about fulfilling that and appropriating those funds? Would we have to keep that application open for them as well, or?
No, I mean, we have some common sense. I mean, if Tracy got one of those, if one of the grounds listed, that chief of staff had mentioned came and said, hey, the skies parted, the stars aligned, and we can buy this, we can do a special appropriation and move and overlook that, or make a, I mean, this is really kind of informal, but I just wanted it on the record so that our staff will not have to, take the brunt of our decision, because we haven't really been on the record saying that we're not going to take any more applications. It was in an informal setting that we suggested that.
Ms. Barnett,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Tracy. I haven't completed the lawnmower grant for this year, so I wish we could still keep that open. And
Okay.
then the ceremonial grounds, they're doing green corn.
Yeah.
And I don't think we should close either one of those.
I apologize. I guess I meant more the construction and, yeah, because those are, to me, those are programmatic, right? Like the utilities and the Christmas money and the green corn money. I didn't mean those. I apologize.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, I have a question. Okay, how many have you accepted have you accepted any at all since y'all informally made this decision to not accept any?
Yeah, all of those probably 25, and if there's any 26 on the emergency, those have been accepted. And maybe one or two.
So the date saying it's starting today?
Yes, I believe so.
April the 14th.
Correct.
Do we need to make a motion for that? Or write a letter, or? We wrote a letter before, maybe we should probably write another letter and send that out.
Yeah, I don't think it requires formal.
Do what?
I would not think it would require formal action.
Yeah,
They need to be placed on notice.
I think we should do a
Write
letter.
a letter. Okay.
Maybe,
Um,
and maybe put it on the website.
Yeah, that's another thing. Representative Barnett, if you didn't hear that, I don't know if you can hear off this microphone or not, but just to send out another letter, and we can put that on the website as well.
Yes, sir. That sounds agreeable. I do think that we should maybe put it on Facebook and the website and send out a letter to the contacts that we have. I think that's, but I wanted to make sure that we discussed it on the record and got a consensus at the committee.
Okay. Yeah, that's good with me. Is that good with the committee?
Yeah.
Okay. As of April 14th. But the green corn and the lawnmowers will stay open. As we get those.
We'll probably just list those three is what I would.
Okay. All right. Representative Barton, did you want to talk about the May 9th? Since we have Second Chief here.
Yes. Thank you, Second Chief, for making that flyer. I appreciate you and your office. And I think that if the chairman and the committee were agreeable, I would like to have another meeting before we go into that meeting and talking to the group, because some of the things that we've been kind of kicking around but really haven't had any real traction on. One, we have to nail down an amount that it's going to take to clear out those waiting lists, and what is a reasonable time frame to expect the clearing of the waiting list. And we need to urgently update the contact list. One of the things that the churches and ceremonial grounds that came to the January meeting, and it was reiterated when we visited West Eufaula, was they would like new applications with more guidance on how to fill the applications out that we currently have. So that's something that we could be in process with. More transparency around the waiting lists that we have and how they get cleared out. And then, of course, potential changes to the actual code that administers the grants that we operate under. I know there's been several versions of this legislation, or for several versions of the code over the last 4 or 5 years, but I really do think that in conjunction with the administration, we need to kind of give it an overhaul and make sure that it works for everyone, because currently the way we have them structured, there's some grounds that don't get to take advantage. There's some of our places of worship that really don't ever get to utilize or enjoy the grants at all. So those are some things I think that we should look at before and after we have that May 9th meeting.
I would just echo that, the same sentiments, but also add that on the agenda, I sent y'all the flyer, right, for preview. And if everything looks good on that flyer, then we'll finalize it and then send it out through our PR. But I would just recommend that we strongly stick to a certain topic or certain agenda, because typically if we get all those people in a room, then topics kind of go everywhere. And that's just my experience of being at a Amigos meeting and a pastor's meeting, is that if we don't have topics that we're going to talk about, then we'll be there all day. And we don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. We want them to all have a voice and hear their opinions. But if we can just make sure that we're sticking to, let's say, the grants, right? Because that's what the topic is right now. So we're just taking the church grants. And if we can figure out a way to give them some good news, then that's what people want to hear, is what have we done, right? Yeah. And so if we can figure out a way to give at least a little bit of good news of, hey, we're doing this, or we're going to do this for you. Maybe we're going to increase the funding. I don't know, but we got to bring some type of good news, and not just say we're stopping, we're stopping applications right now, or we're not doing this. We got to bring some type of good news. So that would be my recommendation. Let's figure out some good news to bring them. It could be little things too, like we're going to have a list out now, and so you'll know where you're at on the list. I mean, that's at least something, because it's better than being in the dark. And I think that was one of the things they said in January, they could just have a list.
Yeah, that was one of the topics there, that you just missed was, a couple of thousands list.
So I would just recommend that, we have an agenda that stay on topic. And we can narrow it down. But also let's bring up some good news of what we talked about. So they just don't think that we're just sitting around talking. We gotta bring some action that we've developed to them, and whether it's a electronic application or it's a updated application, user application, keeping track of the application tracking it by application number, whatever it is, we gotta let them know that we heard them the first time. We're working towards something. Yeah.
Okay.
Chairman,
Yes.
this is Deputy Secretary Anthony Beaver, Department of Cultural Humanities. I would like to ask for an invitation for the Department of Cultural Humanities regarding the discussion that'll take place in halting applications, and also asking for an invitation for your discussion before meeting with the churches and ceremonial grounds. What else?
Okay, thank you. Any more discussion? Good.
Chairman,
Yes. Go ahead, Representative Barnett.
thank you. I apologize. I wasn't for sure if somebody else was recognized. So could we schedule a date? I know that there was some concern about, or something had been said about working sessions with the committees and with the council as a whole. And the thing about it is, though, is that we can have working sessions. You just have to publish an agenda, and the meeting would have to be open to the public, not necessarily open for public discussion, but it just would be a transparent process. So I would like to, because we're going to have to meet to formulate the appropriation to clear out, to mitigate the wait list. We're gonna have to do that anyway before next month's committee meeting. So could we agree on a date to have a special meeting where it would just be for discussion on some of these things that we've been talking about, not necessarily any legislation or action?
Speaker again? Forget what speaker.
Okay. What? Kyle, can you answer that?
Yeah, Representative, I know that there are changes to the rules procedure coming about that would eliminate having work sessions. So it would just need to go through the normal process of going through committees, unless you're asking for a special session to be set by speaker. Is that what you're requesting?
Is that what you're requesting, Representative Barnett?
So we're operating under rules that don't exist?
I'm not sure if that's a question that you're asking me, but I know that we are eliminating work sessions. I know that that's coming up in the rules procedures. So it just needs to go through the regular committee process.
Okay, but so why can we not have a special committee meeting to discuss this? I'm not understanding.
That'd be up to you. That way up to us.
Up to you.
To call another LS.
That's my point. We can have another meeting.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't understand why we couldn't have another meeting to discuss all of these things.
Okay. So call another meeting before May 9th, before we get this over there in Eufaula. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I have to give 3-day notice with an agenda. Like if we're on Tuesday, I'm gonna have it out by Friday
Okay.
or whatever day.
We have.
Yeah. If they all agree, and then Well, that's up to you.
We
You
take a vote on that. We don't take a vote
No,
on
you
that.
can call a meeting.
Okay.
And then whoever shows up or Zoom, or however we do it.
Make sure we can all be there, because y'all have meetings, and I can be there.
Yeah.
So that's gonna miss it.
So there's the 14th. There'll be a meeting on the 16th, meeting on the 20th. It'll have to be. Can anyone meet on the 20th on the Monday? Oh, I'm gonna be gone that day. I have to take my son to Tulsa to a doctor. How about
that last?
Thursday or
Thursday?
The
23rd.
Well, does it have to be before regular session?
Well, how about the last?
Will it have
The
to
week
be
of
before regular
27th?
session? Or are we just
I
talking
thought
about?
we were talking about that May 9th.
Yeah. I don't see why we couldn't have it that last week of April, Tracy, if that.
Okay.
Can we do May 1st by chance? Anytime, May 1st?
On a Friday? You're off on Friday?
May 1st?
Yeah, I can do it.
She raised her.
Okay. Go ahead.
No,
I'll
May
answer those
1st.
questions.
Oh, okay. But, May 1st?
That is, as long as it's in the afternoon, that morning is the college graduation.
Oh.
Well, that'd be a good day, because it's.
Because then everybody be here. I mean, if we're going to
Yeah,
graduation.
So we could do it, yeah.
Okay, what time?
1:30.
1:30? 1:30 or 2:00?
Either one works for me.
Whenever.
Yeah. 1:30, 2:00.
You can.
Let's go 2:00. 2:00, May 1st?
Yeah.
We good, okay. Second chief said he'll be available as well.
Awesome. Does that work for culture and humanities as well?
Anthony Beaver, are you still there? Oh. Anthony, with that?
Yes, sir.
May 1st at 2:00.
Yes, sir. That'll work.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much, Chairman.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Now I mean, you'll just sit down there, Chip.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
just put out whatever y'all want.
Okay. All right. Tracy will send out I'm sorry, Representative Wyckoff.
Can someone explain to me again what was said about work sessions? Why we can't have a work session for LNC?
He had to run to the restroom.
And even, I mean, I don't understand why I have to call official meeting, but even if there's an amendment that's gonna be proposed to the rules of procedure, it hasn't passed yet, and it may not pass. So I don't see the problem in having a work session for us, just saying.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to do the 3-day notice and all of that. I'm just confused as to what.
Well, I think the difference is work sessions, you don't make decisions.
Yeah.
You just have a discussion.
Yeah, you
But
have a
with
discussion,
committee
like-
meetings, you can make the decisions.
But that's what we're talking about, just
So-
discussing.
We have a question.
Sorry, I
That's fine. That's fine. We have a question from Representative Wyckoff.
Yeah, what's the problem with having a work session for LNC?
Because during work sessions, it's informal, it's not mandatory to show up. You can't take any formal action. You're violating our Open Records Act if you do. So I know that's what I'm saying. There's a push to get rid of that because it's been kind of pushed to the edge of legitimacy of holding really work sessions and the spirit of what a work session was supposed to be, which is informational sharing. So if any kind of formal action is going to take place, it's really got to just go through either the committee process or the council.
Right, but generally, from my understanding, work sessions were just set up for discussion purposes.
That's right.
So
But evidently that's gone a little further with some of the work sessions where votes either informally were taken or decisions made, and that's problematic.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions, discussion? Any other business? Hearing none. Oh, who was that? On down to announcements. Our BF and J will be this Thursday, the 16th at 3 p.m. Any more announcements? Hearing none, I would like to ask Representative Whitecloud if she'll do the benediction, which was served as our adjournment.
Thank you, Lord, for this time to gather here to gather to make decisions for our nation. I pray for each and every one for safe travels and grace when they leave here. And if anybody's in the storms, to place your hedge of protection about each and every one of us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Meeting adjourned at 5:05.
Mado.
Mado. Oh, yeah. I'm doing good. I had our. You'll take me out. Yeah.